moving forward, there is another point where students always create confusion, or they do have belief that like D and L, plus and minus, or R and S, they are same or something like that. But this is not the fact. There is difference, of course, is there between. We will see what that exactly is. So there is no implied relationship exist among these terms. So D and L, these are relative configuration. When I'm saying relative, means they are related to something. When I'm saying R and S, this is absolute configuration, which is due to arrangement of a substituent around stereo center in 3 dimension. Whereas plus, minus, and small d small l, this is a specific rotation which is true in case of sugars only. Generally student, they do write capital D or small d wrongly one for another, which is wrong, and we will see what exactly meaning of capital D, small d, capital L, and small l is there. But definitely we can write plus and small d for interchangeably for one another. Similarly minus and small l for one another. I told you configuration is related to either configuration of D-glyceraldehyde or L-glyceraldehyde from which it may be synthesized. So this is capital D and capital L, it is related to carbohydrates only, and depending upon the position of OH group which has become linked to penultimate carbon, whether it is left or right, subsequently configuration of that particular sugar will be capital D or L respectively. So R and S, it is a actual or absolute configuration which is due to the arrangement of substituent around stereo center in 3 dimensions. Whereas specific rotations, they specify whether the compound is dextrorotatory or levorotatory when placed in polarimeter. These are older terms and are rarely used now. So we will see what is relative configuration. I told you depending upon position of OH group on penultimate carbon. So this is ultimate carbon CH2OH, and the next to this penultimate carbon C, to which OH group has become linked. Here it is on the right hand side, so it is D-glyceraldehyde. Here position of OH group on penultimate carbon is on left hand side, so this particular arrangement is capital L glyceraldehyde. So D and L designations are based on the configuration about the single asymmetric carbon in glyceraldehyde. Similarly, we could see structures of D-glucose and L-glucose. Here it is related to configuration of glyceraldehyde, and that's why this is called as relative configuration. So here you could see position of OH group in penultimate carbon, it is on the right hand side, so it is D-glucose. Position of OH group on penultimate carbon is on left hand side, so it is L-glucose. Fact is that most naturally occurring sugars are there in the D isomeric form.